So as I said in the next lesson, I'm going to be starting with the lessons from the very beginning. But before we begin, um, this is the template in which we use in documenting music. Okay, but before we document, we need to understand what we use. Those are the tools we use. Okay, we call them musical notes. Okay, musical notes are symbols used to represent sound. They are symbols. When you say a sign used to represent sound, they are called musical notes. So those musical notes are those symbols that we place on these 5 lines and 4 spaces. But before we place them, you get to understand what are these 5 lines and 4 spaces. How do they work? But I'm going to be doing this at this aspect. I'm going to be writing the numbers of the lines and the spaces. I'm going to number them at this side so that you get to, so don't mix it up with, because the clef sign I'm going to draw it at this aspect. So I'm going to be numbering the lines and spaces. So in music, we count from below. Okay, when we count from below, we have 5 lines and 4 spaces. So the 5 lines are going to be counted this way: line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, and line 5. You can see the 5 lines. So we also have 4 spaces. You have space 1, space 2, space 3, and space 4. So you have the 5 lines and 4 spaces. So these 5 lines and 4 spaces are being lettered. Okay, but what are the letters used? We use the first 7 letters from the 26 letters. Which are the first 7 letters? You have letter A, letter B, C, D, E, F, and G. When it gets to G, it goes back to A. That is, you have to start over again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It goes like in rounds like that. When you get to G, you go back to A. You get to G, go back to A. It goes in rounds like that, and it follows itself accordingly. So the 5 lines and 4 spaces are being lettered with named with these letters. So good. So the first 7 letters are what we use. So, but we cannot just place these letters on the 5 lines and spaces without the clef sign. There is a symbol, a clef sign, that will determine what this letter, what these lines and spaces will be. So how do we draw the clef sign? That is where I wanted to point out. That is one of the first expos, because most people do not understand how to draw this clef sign. It's just like that. Even some computer drawings are wrong. I want to explain this so you take note of this. When you draw the clef line, I'm going to use 2 methods. The one used for the kindergarten method and the normal one, the generally used for the matured ones. So the kindergarten method, it begins from the 5th line, a line above the 5th line. Okay, I'm going to draw a straight line. Okay, that's the first thing. You now do the second step. You draw a small face, which is going to end to the 4th line. A small face. You can see that. Then you draw a big back to the 1st line. Then you draw a big tummy to the 3rd line. You can see that you now draw the intestine. And you draw the leg. That is for the kindergarten. What did I do? I drew a straight line. I drew a small face. I drew a big back. I drew a big tummy. I drew the intestine. And I now drew the leg. That's what that. Then the other one, the other method is, you have the normal method, which is the normal general one. It starts from the 2nd line. Okay, it goes up. It must cross on the 4th line. That's the secret. It must always cross on the 4th line. If you see any computer drawn clef and does not cross on the 4th line, it's an error. If you see any drawn one that does not cross on the 4th line, it's an error. That's the secret. Most people do not know. Even most lecturers do not know. It's under the manuscript technique, and I'm exposing that to them all. So when you draw the treble clef, it must cross on this 4th line. You can see that, and that is it. That's it. So this is the kindergarten method, and this is the normal. You can see the kindergarten method has this kind of it entices children, and this is the normal way of drawing the clef, which begins on the 2nd line. This is also called the G clef, and this is also known as the treble clef. Okay, so this is for the line. So now, after placing the clef sign, that is when you start giving these lines and spaces their names. Without this clef sign, these lines and spaces would not have any name. So with the placement of this, the very first line will become letter E. Okay? And now, following the letters, after E, what would you have? F. After F, you have G. So following them, after E, the space will be F. The line will be G. After G, you go back to A. After G, the space will be A. After A, the line will be B. After B, the space will be C. After C, the line will be D. After D, the space will be E. After E, the line will be F. So let me spell them out. So you have E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, and the last one, which is F. Good. So let us demarcate the lines from the spaces. The line 1, 2, 3, and 5 are what? Line 1 is E, line 2 is G, line 3 is B, line 4 is D, and line 5 is what? F. Let us bring out the spaces. Space 1 is F, space 2 is A, space 3 is C, and space 4 is what? E. So you have the spaces as face, if you use an acronym too, okay? As face. That if you use an acronym for the lines, you have every good boy does fine, or every good boy deserves Fanta. So you could decide to use any of the acronyms. So this is what we use in representing the lines and the spaces. The moment you place the treble clef on it, it starts deriving the name. Now it is the clef that determines the name. This clef is different from the bass clef. In the next lesson, I'm going to be explaining the bass clef and the lettering. So you get to understand. So by the time you place the bass clef, the first line will never be E. But when you place the treble clef, the first line will be E. So I want you to take note of that. So this is just the beginning. And take note of the treble clef, how it's being drawn, where the line crosses. Take note of the fourth line. And take note of the two types. Okay, this is used to teach kindergarten. It will entice children to getting to know the stuff and to entice them. And this is the normal one. So, and these are the lines and the spaces, and it's been done. Okay, I've explained this to you in this lesson. If you have any question, you could just come to the comment section and ask your question. So that's for that. And another thing again is this: I do more of this, and I do more of home teaching. I do personal teaching. I groom composers. I've trained a lot of composers who have composed for people. I've trained composers who have composed for Unilag as a school, who have composed for IFA as a school. I've trained people who have also become composers. So I'm actually somebody that knows how to train people to becoming who they want to be. So I have actually groomed a lot of people that have traveled out. They've done series of ABRSM exams and different series of graded exams. So if you have any challenge with any graded exam, you want to sit for any graded exam, you have any challenge with theory of music, you can just contact me and I'll be very, very willing to help you out. So, and if you have any school, yeah, I do more part-time teaching because full-time does not pay us in Nigeria. That is one of the reasons. And I actually, in 2024, I decided to stay off. But now I'm back for 2025. And if you need my services, you could contact me and get the best for your students. Thank you very much. God bless.